Hey guys, mahal everyone, 40 the Broadway Saiyan here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, this time bringing you guys a video on Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. In this video, we're going to be covering Reworks Part 6. So as you guys know, in my most recent Opera Omnia video, I covered the upcoming Act 2 Chapter 3 coming out to global DFFOO. With the release of that chapter, we're going to be seeing reworks for both Zidane and Vivi. So we're going to go ahead and cover the reworks for this video, see what they get, and give you guys my overall thoughts about the rework. So we're going to go ahead and kick things off with Zidane's rework, starting off with his Crystal level 58 passive. It used to be Brave Speed Up, but with this rework, it's going to be changing to Buff Attack and Speed Up. Before, it would just give him a medium speed increase when Brave is 50% or greater than of Max Brave, but now with the rework, it's going to be a 60% attack increase and medium speed up increase when buffed. Now, his new framed buff and new framed debuffs that he gets are Thievery and Stealing Mark. Thievery is the framed buff, lasts for 5 turns. It's granted by either using Stellar Circle 5, its plus version, or free energy, or its plus version. It changes Stellar Circle 5, free energy, and Brave attack to their plus versions, and also increases Zidane's attack by 40% and Max Brave by 80%. Now his new frame debuff, which is Stealing Mark, lasts for 5 turns. Same thing, you can inflict this debuff when you're using either Stellar Circle 5, free energy, or the plus variants of those abilities. It allows Zidane to deal 1.2 times bonus weak damage on targets afflicted with Stealing Mark, and also reduces the target's attack and Max Brave by 20%. Now the Brave attack plus that he gets with this is a 2-hit melee Brave attack that also has that 1.2 times bonus weak damage when afflicted by Stealing Mark. It has a 140% Brave damage potency. Now let's go ahead and take a look at his abilities with this rework. First of all, we have Stellar Circle 5 Extend. So now with the rework, he gets 2 uses. It increases Brave hits to 5 and overall Brave damage to 240%. It inflicts that Stealing Mark debuff and also grants him Thievery for 5 turns. The speed down that he inflicts is now guaranteed, and the speed up buff is also guaranteed, and it extends to 6 turns. It also deals HP damage now if Brave is 80% or greater than of Max Brave. The plus version of this ability, the HP damage dealt is right after the 5 Brave hits, so there's no requirements or no conditions. There is, however, no change to the Brave damage to the plus variant. It inflicts that Stealing Mark and also grants Thievery for 5 turns. This time, however, Brave can overflow with this ability up to 120% of Max Brave, and it deals 1.2 times bonus weak damage to a target afflicted with Stealing Mark. Now for his second ability, which is Free Energy, for the rework he gets plus 2 uses. The base version of this will be recovering his Brave, now based on 0.75 times his attack stat. It will inflict that Stealing Mark debuff and also grant him Thievery for 5 turns. It also guarantees that 45% defense down debuff on a target, and also as well as the 45% defense up to himself. The plus version of this ability now will be dealing 2 melee Brave hits before he actually deals the HP damage. The Brave damage potency on this is 140%. He's also going to be doing a second Brave heal on top of the first one. The second one is based on 50% of Zidane's current Brave amount. It will be inflicting that Stealing Mark and also granting him Thievery for 5 turns. Brave can overflow on this ability up to 120%, and now he deals 1.2 times bonus weak damage to a target with this ability when afflicted with Stealing Mark. After taking a look at this, what are my thoughts on his overall rework? Let's see, what does he get? Overflow, which is amazing for a damage dealing unit. We already know Zidane is fast, but having that overflow allows him to deal more damage. Two amazing upgrades is the framed buff and the framed debuff. That Thievery, 80% Max Brave up, 40% attack. That's pretty strong. I mean, it only lasts for 5 turns, but that's a pretty significant time, and if you're cycling through his abilities, you could be sure that you will always have that Thievery framed buff on, and then afterwards he gets a framed debuff, which reduces attack and Max Brave, and also allows him to inflict more damage on targets. And to top it off, both of his abilities now are more efficient, because before he would just need to fill up his Brave with Stellar Circle, and then afterwards either use free energy or an HP attack. Now he actually dumps his Brave with both abilities, abilities, and to top it off, his free energy on the plus variant can now also Brave Shape. So he's definitely a whole lot more consistent, a whole lot better, especially with the upcoming Cosmos era that we're going to be seeing. I feel like Zidane, especially if you happen to have his EX weapon, could be a pretty good choice to take on some of the Cosmos fights. And he also has those defense down debuffs as well as a speed down to complement his stealing mark, because that way, in a sense, you're going to be placing 3 really powerful debuffs on the target. So overall, I'm very impressed with his rework. Even if you don't have his EX weapon, his base abilities now are definitely better. You'll miss out on the launch with the EX weapon if you don't have it, but he's really strong now with his rework, and it's definitely a blessing to him, and also great for us Zidane fans that want to use Zidane in our party. Now, the next character that's going to be getting a rework that we're going to be taking a look at is Vivi. So first of all, we're going to start off with his Crystal level 58 passive, which is buff attack and boost up. So there was no name change to that. Before, it would just be a 40% increase to attack and max brave when buffed. Now with his rework, it's still going to be a 40% attack increase, but the max brave increase is jumped up to 80%, which is pretty big. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the unique frame buff that he gets with his rework. So this unique frame buff is called Black Mage's Torch. It's granted by using Focus ability. It lasts for 10 turns, which is pretty long, and also increases Vivi's attack by 10% and his max brave by 20%. Now let's go ahead and take a look at his abilities with this rework. First of all, with his C level 55 Fire Extend, on the base version, it's 1+ usage. It increases the brave hits to 2 and overall brave damage potency to 200, and it now also deals HP damage after the brave hits. His Fire Plus is going to be a 3-hit Fire Magic Brave plus HP attack with a 210 brave damage potency, and as well as an overflow of up to 120% of his max brave. Now his second ability, Focus, is going to be getting a +1 usage. This time the attack up buff potency to himself is increased to an overall 120% increase, which is pretty good, and it also extends the duration for that by 6 turns. It also grants him the Black Mage's Torch to himself for 10 turns. It changes his Fire to Fire Plus, his Brave Attack to Brave Attack Plus for 6 turns, which is a 2-hit Fire Magic Brave Attack with a 160% brave damage potency, and also will be changing his HP attack to HP Attack Plus, which is a 1-hit Fire Magic Brave plus HP attack with an 80% brave damage potency. Taking a look at this now, what are my thoughts on Vivi's rework? Vivi's rework is pretty good. Not as impressive as Zidane's. I think Zidane got a little bit more, but Vivi now is also more consistent too now with his fire ability especially. I do like how it has a plus version. I do like how he now has a unique frame buff that he can give to himself. I like the duration on it. Maybe the boost to the stats, only 10% attack and 20% max brave. Maybe it's a little too small. I don't know, for me that's just that I think maybe it could have been like 40-40 or something crazy like that, but it's what it is. At least it lasts for 10 turns. He does get an EX weapon upon the release of Act 2 Chapter 3, like I talked about when I mentioned his EX weapon. With his rework, he's definitely strong, but I feel like even with his rework, Vivi would still definitely benefit from having that EX weapon, because without it, he's stronger, he's just not as impressive as some of the other reworks that we have seen. So if you decide to use him, even with this rework, highly recommend that you at least try to pull for his EX weapon, so then that way he can be more versatile and he'll have access to actually another unique buff that he gets from his EX weapon usage. And like again, I covered that on my last video, so if you want to go check that out on Act 2 Chapter 3, it is going to be in the comments, in the video description, as well as the pinned comments if you guys want to check that out. Alright guys, well this is going to conclude part 6 for my reworks on Zidane and Vivi. Really cool that these characters got reworks, then that way we could see them being used a little bit more, especially for some of the upcoming harder content that we're going to be seeing in Opera Omnia. Once again, this is 40 the Broadway Saiyan. Stay tuned for my next video, and mahal everyone.